The airport was buzzing, but all eyes were on the woman standing alone by the first-class gate. Her plain dress and worn-out shoes looked out of place among the shiny suitcases and fancy suits. Her name was Lila, and her face was red with anger. "You can't board yet," the airline worker snapped, pointing to a sign that read "First Class Only." Lila clutched her ticket tightly, her hands shaking. She wasn't allowed in not because of her ticket, but because she looked too poor. The rich passengers laughed as they walked past her, sipping their drinks. Lila's eyes burned with tears, but something else was growing inside her rage. Then the loudspeaker crackled. "Attention! All flights are grounded. Starlux Airlines is shutting down." Gasps filled the room. The fancy passengers froze, their drinks slipping from their hands. The airline worker's face turned pale. Lila stood still, her lips curling into a tiny, secret smile. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small black device with a blinking red light. What was it? How did this simple woman, humiliated just moments ago, have anything to do with a whole company crashing down? The crowd stared at her, whispering, was she dangerous, or was she something more? Lila's story didn't start here. Days ago, she was just a quiet cleaner at Starlux Airlines office. She mopped floors while workers ignored her. But Lila had a secreta big one. She wasn't just a cleaner. She was smart, really smart, and she'd been watching everything. Every rude word, every unfair rule, every dirty trick the company played. She wrote it all down in a little notebook hidden in her bag. One night, Lila overheard something she shouldn't have. The company's boss, Mr. Vance, was on the phone. "We'll cheat the customers again," he laughed. "No one will know." Lila's heart raced. She knew this was wrong. But what could a simple cleaner do? She wasn't sure yet, but that night, she made a plan, a dangerous one. The next day, Lila went to work, like always, but her bag was heavier. Inside was the black device with the red light. She didn't tell anyone, not even her best friend, Mara. At the airport, she tried to board her flight a rare trip to see her sick mom, but the worker stopped her. "Wait outside," he sneered. That was the moment everything changed. Lila's plan wasn't just about her anymore. It was about revenge. Now, at the gate, chaos erupted. The airline was falling apart, and Lila stood in the center of it all. The worker who humiliated her ran toward her, shouting, "What did you do?" Lila didn't answer. She just held the device tighter. The crowd pushed closer, scared and confused. What was that device? Was Lila about to do something even bigger? Or was this just the beginning? Days before the airport chaos, Lila was invisible. She pushed her mop across the shiny floors of Starlux Airlines office, her head down. Workers in fancy suits walked past, not even seeing her. "Don't touch my desk, cleaner," one barked. Lila nodded quietly, but her eyes were sharp. She noticed everything, their secrets, their lies. At night, when everyone left, she opened her notebook. Pages were filled with notes. Mr. Vance hides money. They overcharge tickets. They laugh at customers. Lila wasn't just cleaning floors. She was collecting proof. One evening, Lila stayed late. She heard Mr. Vance in his office, his voice low and sneaky. "We'll fake a fuel shortage," he said on the phone. "Prices go up, and we keep the extra cash." Lila's heart pounded. This wasn't just mean it was illegal. She tiptoed closer, her mop forgotten. That's when she saw it, a computer left unlocked on a desk. It showed Starlux's secret files proof of their tricks. Lila's hands shook. She could tell someone, but who would believe a cleaner? That night, Lila made her plan. She wasn't just smart, she was a tech genius. Years ago, she'd learned to code, but life had trapped her in this job. Now, her skills were her weapon. She built a tiny device at home, a black box with a red light. It could hack into Starlux's system and send their secrets to the world, but it was risky. If she got caught, she'd lose everything. The next morning, Lila felt sick with fear. She packed the device in her bag and went to the airport for her flight. She wasn't rich, but she'd saved for months to visit her mom. When the worker stopped her at the first-class gate, laughing at her old clothes, something snapped. Lila's fear turned to fire. She wouldn't just send the secrets. She'd destroy Starlux. Back at the airport, the loudspeaker blared again. "All systems are down! Starlux is bankrupt!" the crowd screamed. The worker who'd mocked Lila grabbed her arm. "You did this, didn't you?" he yelled. Lila pulled away, her face calm but her heart racing. The device in her bag beeped softly. Had she gone too far? Suddenly, a man in a black suit pushed through the crowd, his eyes locked on Lila. "We need to talk," he said, his voice cold. Who was he? And how did he know her name? The airport was a mess. People shouted, phones rang, and screens flickered with error messages. Lila stood frozen, clutching her bag with the black device inside. The man in the black suit loomed over her, his eyes like ice. "Lila Carter," he said again, his voice sharp. "Come with me." The crowd parted, staring. The worker who'd mocked her backed away, his face pale. Lila's heart thumped. How did this man know her? Was he police? Or worse, someone from Starlux? Days earlier, Lila had been careful. After finding the secret files, she'd copied them onto her device. She worked late at night, her tiny apartment lit only by her computer screen. She coded a program to leak Starlux's lies, fake fuel shortages, stolen money, cheated customers. The device would send it all to news stations and the government. But she hadn't pressed the button yet. She wanted to wait until she was safely on her flight. Then the gate worker humiliated her, and anger took over. She pressed the button early. Now, the man grabbed her arm gently but firmly. "You're not in trouble," he whispered, "but we need to move." Lila's mind raced. Was he lying? She followed him through the chaotic airport to a quiet hallway. He shut the door. "I'm Agent Reed," he said, showing a badge. "I've been watching Starlux for months. We know what they're doing, and we know what you did." Lila's stomach dropped. Had her device been traced? Was she going to jail? Agent Reed leaned closer. "You're not the only one fighting them, but you're in danger. Starlux has powerful friends." Lila's eyes widened. She thought she was alone, a simple cleaner against a giant company. Now, someone else knew her secret. "Help us," Reed said. "We can protect you." But before Lila could answer, the door burst open. A woman in a Starlux uniform stood there, her face twisted with rage. "You traitor!" she screamed, pointing at Lila. Something shiny gleamed in her hand, a knife. Lila gasped. Was this the end of her plan? The airport hallway felt like a trap. The woman in the Starlux uniform gripped the knife, her eyes wild with fury. "You ruined us, Lila," she hissed, stepping closer. Lila's heart pounded so hard she could barely breathe. Agent Reed moved fast, putting himself between Lila and the woman. "Drop it, Clara," he said, his voice steady but sharp. Clara, the Starlux manager, laughed bitterly. "You think you can stop us? She's a nobody." Lila clutched her bag, the black device inside beeping faintly. She felt small, but her anger burned brighter than her fear. Days before, Lila had been cautious. After coding the device, she tested it in secret. It worked perfectly, ready to send Starlux's dirty secrets to the world. But she'd heard whispers at work, rumors about fixers the company hired to silence problems. Lila thought she could stay invisible, just a cleaner no one noticed. She was wrong. Clara had seen her near the office computers one night, and now she knew Lila was trouble. In the hallway, Clara lunged, the knife flashing. Reed grabbed her wrist, twisting it until the knife clattered to the floor. Lila stumbled back, her bag slipping. The device fell out, its red light blinking wildly. Clara's eyes locked onto it. "That's it, isn't it?" she snarled, struggling against Reed. "You little rat!" Reed pushed Clara against the wall, but more footsteps echoed down the hall. Two men in dark coats appeared, their faces grim. Were they Starlux's fixers? Or someone else? Reed turned to Lila, his voice urgent. Run now, take the device. Lila grabbed it, her hands shaking. She sprinted down the hall, her old shoes slipping on the polished floor. Behind her, she heard shouts and a loud crash. The airport was still chaos screens blank, people yelling. Lila ducked into a crowded waiting area, her mind racing. She'd exposed Starlux, but now she was hunted. The device beeped louder, its signal growing stronger. Had she accidentally triggered something worse? Suddenly, a hand grabbed her shoulder. Got you, a deep voice growled. Lila spun around, her heart stopping. Who was it? The airport hallway felt like a trap. The Starlux woman, Miss Claire, gripped the knife, her eyes wild. You ruined everything, Cleaner, she hissed at Lila. Agent Reed stepped in front, shielding her. Put it down, he ordered, his hand on his badge. Lila's heart pounded, her bag heavy with the blinking device. She'd come too far to stop now. The secrets she'd leaked, Starlux's lies, stolen money, fake shortages were already spreading. News screens in the airport flashed. Starlux Airlines collapses amid scandal. But Miss Claire wasn't done fighting. Earlier, Lila had hesitated. After Reed revealed he was investigating Starlux, she'd agreed to help. She handed him a copy of her device's data, proof of the company's crimes, but she hadn't expected Miss Claire, Starlux's top manager, to track her down so fast. Claire had been in Mr. Vance's office that night. Lila overheard the plans. She knew Lila was the leak. You think you're clever? Claire spat, stepping closer. You're nothing! Lila's fear turned to anger. She wasn't nothing. She was the one who'd brought a giant down. Reed lunged, knocking the knife from Claire's hand. It clattered to the floor. Security rushed in, pinning Claire down. Lila's legs shook, but she stood tall. It's over, she said softly. Reed nodded. Thanks to you, the loudspeaker crackled. Starlux Airlines is officially shut down. All assets frozen. The crowd outside cheered, some angry, some relieved. Lila's phone buzzed a message from her mom. I'm proud of you. As police led Claire away, Reed turned to Lila. You're a hero, he said, but you need to disappear for a while. Starlux's friends might come for you. Lila nodded, her heart heavy but full. She lost her job, her quiet life, but she gained something bigger: justice. She walked out of the airport, the device still in her bag. The red light blinked one last time, then stopped. Lila smiled. She'd done it. Starlux was gone, and she, a simple woman, had won.